What's up, guys? This is Hans from the Eclectic podcast, and today we're going to be taking a look at MP-11NR Destron New Jetron Warrior RamJet. This is the first of Takara's masterpiece cone heads. Hopefully there'll be more. Real quick, we'll take a look at the packaging. Top of the box, just RamJet, typical masterpiece style. On the side, Transformers MP-11NR RamJet. Opposite side, same thing. Back of the box shows you him just with some of his various accessories and modes. Then down along the bottom you can see all of his contents. Bottom of the box, typical stuff that I can't read. I'm sure it's legal stuff, but anyways. Let's go ahead, let's get this guy open and take a look at what's inside. Alright, so here he is out of the package. He looks pretty good. Let's go ahead and let's take a look at his accessories real quick. Alright, so out of the package we get these two extra fuel tanks. They have some nice gray paint on the back. Nothing too crazy. These are going to work as extra thrusters, but then they go on to the current null rays that are on the figure. And they just kind of cover those up. So we got a dose of those. You get your little pilot guy. Little guy. Smoke. Clear plastic. Again, that's kind of what we expect with the conehead type seeker jets. Spec card looks really nice. Nice graphic on the front there. There he is in the back. Tech specs. And then, of course, kind of a throwback to where it's the older style masterpiece instructions, where it's actually the book. Nothing too crazy, no full color or anything, but nice nonetheless. Okay, so looking at the bot a little bit closer up, he's, I don't know, I find him kind of a mixed bag. The Seeker design, whenever it first came out, was really well done, really well executed for the time. And now I think that mold's getting a little bit tired. This kind of down here, it's really kind of bulky compared to what's going on up in the top. You can, with these pieces here, you can go ahead and you can peg these into these holes that are on the back, and actually you can swap them to the opposite side so you don't show the hole. If you look right here, you've got this peg here. You got a slot here on the wing. You can just lock this into. Same thing on the opposite side. And that's totally your choice if you want to do that. To me, I think it just kind of helps fill out the upper chest area. Kind of gives it more of a fleshed out feeling. You can also angle these how you want them. If you want them more straight out, you can do that. Or you can actually go ahead and fold them back. It's totally your call. So I thought that was kind of a nice touch. I kind of like them folded back. Let's take a look at his head sculpt real quick. Head is nicely done. I like kind of the angles that they went with on that. It is on a ball peg. So you do get a little bit of left and right. You get a little bit of a tilt. So I mean, you can get some kind of very emotive kind of head tilts and stuff with him. It is on this weird contraption here, and it doesn't have any way to lock in. So that's kind of an issue. I like kind of this red and gold paint they have up here. I like these, how these white and black sections look. That looks pretty good. I think that looks pretty fair. I kind of wish they would have gone with a little bit smokier cockpit. Nice red and gold paint on the knees. Let's go ahead and let's go through his articulation. Start off the top up here. So your arms are typical Seeker arms. They can go out that far. You can go a full 360 with them, depending on kind of what you get in the way. You do have upper bicep swivel. Double hinged elbow. That'll get you all the way up. Hands are kind of the typical Seeker hands. You got these lower 3 fingers connected together, this one by itself, and then you have an articulating thumb. Mine were backwards, but they've been, with every Seeker that I've gotten so far from Takara, the hands have been backwards, so these are backwards as well. So I just had to rotate those in their slots, right there at the ball peg at the base of the knuckle. Legs can go that far forward. They can go even less back. You do have an upper thigh swivel, and then a knee joint, as you're supposed to. Pretty limited. Your knee looks like it can only go back about that far. Let's see if we get that kicked forward. So you get a little bit extra knee articulation. The problem is it starts getting really hindered up in the backpack area with all this extra stuff that's going on back here. That really hinders the back, and the back itself is pretty messy. In the past, you had a hole, a notch in the nose cone back here that this could peg into, and that would kind of alleviate some of that. But you don't have that this time, due to some of the designs things they had to do. On the toes themselves, you have no rocker, so you do have this kind of swivel thing. The actual thrust vectors can be kind of adjusted and tilted, and then you do have the heel spur, which is really necessary with this guy. I don't think you'd be able to stand him at all if it wasn't for that heel spur. You still do have, up here in the chest area, you have the missiles under the chest, which is always a cool touch. He doesn't detach as easily as what they used to before. I mean, it's still not perfect, but it doesn't lift up or anything like that. I mean, everything stays pretty secure in that chest section. So that's a nice touch. That's a big bonus on as far as I'm concerned. All in all, bot mode like this, I think he's a little bit of a mess. I don't know. Maybe it's just the mold's tired. Maybe it's getting kind of old. But let's go ahead, let's get him out of this bot mode and take a look at him in his jet mode and see how he looks there. Start off down here in the leg area. Collapse that forward, rotate this around, forward there. Come over to the back here, open this up, and then just flip this back, this engine detail. Close that back down. Same thing on this side. And this does collapse in whenever you push down on that like that. So then you can push that in, come around to the back, open up the engine, flip that back, close that back down, just lock that all into place. And then what you can do is you can go ahead and there's a peg here and there's a notch there. Just go ahead and tab that together. Then we can start working on the upper chest area. While we're at that, before we go up to the upper area, you can go ahead and just bring these down. Those just both slide. We'll leave those kind of as they are. Let's get started on the top section here. Tilt these back if you have them tilted forward. Go ahead and pull that chest cavity up, at which point you can go ahead and flip these up, thruster pieces. We'll deal with the arms here in a second. You can go ahead and untab this from the back. Take these off. Lift this section. Just make sure we get enough clearance so we can run this through here. Start moving that around. Bring the nose cone through. Come up to this top section. This is a part that's different from the typical Masterpiece Seeker. Rotate this around. Once that's rotated around, you want to take the headpiece, rotate that around, bring that up, connect that with that canopy, and just kind of lock that all into place there. Just kind of flatten all that section together. Let's work on this middle section here. Go ahead and take this part, work that around and through, just till it's centered up. Same thing on this side. Just get that all the way worked around. Close that up till they're kind of lined up in here. First thing you want to do with the hands is tuck everything in as much as possible. And then rotate this out and around. So we're going to take the hand. What I like to do is put the black side of the hands facing out. That way you can't really see that. Just collapse that in there. We'll deal with the null rays here in a little bit. Same thing on this side. Collapse this hand all the way in. Then rotate that around. We're going to spin this until it's facing towards us, till we can see the screws, and then bring it back in upon itself. Just make sure that's all kind of nice and flush in there. Unpeg that null ray, work that around, just to kind of get them out of the way. And that's basically that for the upper section. Then what we can do is go ahead and flip these down. Same on this side. Make sure everything kind of pegs in the way it's supposed to. See how that goes nice and flush? You got pegs all along there that'll keep everything kind of in its place. Collapse this whole section forward. And then before we flip those down, what you want to do is come in here, open this up, and I thought this was really cool. You rotate this around, close it back up, and that completes that engine for the back. Same thing on this side, open that up, rotate that around, collapse it back down. Then we can start folding that down and get all this kind of aligned up. And that's basically him transformed. I'm going to go ahead and just kind of clean it up a little bit, and then we'll go into the alt mode review. Just so you guys kind of get an idea of how these null rays will go into these extra thrusters, you'll split these apart, run that all the way down, come to the back here, and I believe they only go on one way. Just plug that into there. And then on this rear wing back here, you have a notch right there, or a hole right there, for that slot. Go ahead and kind of peg that up in there. And for some reason, this wing on this side of my plane just does not want to tab in. But same thing with this side. Separate that. Run that in through there. His landing gear is fairly similar to what we've had before in the past. You've got these covers here on the knees. Your front landing gear is much in the way as it was in the past. Just open that up. That top cover always flips off on this thing. So here he is all transformed, and I think he looks really, really good. Nice tempo printing Decepticon symbols on the front. Nice on the back here. Really nicely done. This isn't painted here, this is just plastic. Looks like this has got some black paint on that. White. Now this color white and this color white are two different colors. This is probably painted here, because it's got a really nice glossy finish on it. Cockpit does open, and of course you can seat your pilot. So there you get your pilot in there. You do still have your air brake, but in the past this was always metal. Now it feels plastic. I don't think it's any longer a metal rod in there. So you got a plastic air brake in there. These still open up to where if you want to show the engine detail, you can. So that's still a nice touch. You still have your cone, your radar dish that opens up and has the detail inside of there. So they were able to keep that intact. He's kind of fiddly, more so than the typical masterpieces are. He looks great. Bottom side cleans up fairly well. I was kind of on the fence as to whether or not I wanted to get the cone heads. I never had the cone heads as a kid, And it's just a tad bit underwhelming. And there were things that I really thought they could have done better with this mold. They had a chance to kind of just break some new ground, and they really decided not to. Some of it's just a really kind of a pain. Nothing tabs in quite correctly. Like this whole wing section on that backside. Landing gear keeps on flopping open. I mean, all in all, it's not awful, but it could have been a little bit more. It could have been a little bit better. They could have done a few more things to it just to make it shine. I'm not particularly crazy with how the head attaches to the body in bot mode. I think that's a rather disappointing kind of lot, how they did that. But I think it looks great in alt mode. I think if you're a big time Seeker and Conehead fan, I really think it's worthwhile. I think it's worth your money. Anyways, guys, thank you for watching. Peace out, and we will talk to you soon. Bye.
What makes this podcast unique?
Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Dylan, 130 the Eclectic Podcast, just coming at you right now. Let you know we'll be on into YouTube. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, come on back now. Be the third subscriber. You get absolutely nothing. Thank you so much. And please listen to the Eclectic Podcast because we are amazeballs.
Yeah, we're probably not quoting Mel Gibson ever again.
If you want to listen to lizard people or hear all about lizard people, lizard people, let them go, lizard people.